How's it going, viewers? James here with another video. Just finished replacing the serpentine belt on this 2006 Scion TC. This job took me about 30 minutes. This is actually the second trial that I've had though. The first time I was working on this for about 2 or 3 hours, and it turned out I had the wrong size belt. So real quick, this is the belt that I bought the first time. It's a Bando 7PK1920. Now they also make a 7PK1940. The 4 last digits indicate the length of the belt. So this is a 1920 millimeter belt, and they also make a 1940 millimeter belt, and they say both fit this car, which is impossible because there's just way too much overlap. I looked up online and the actual specs for this vehicle is a 1936. So that's why I couldn't get this belt on. It's about 16 millimeters too short to fit over that last pulley. So this is the belt that I got after that, which is on the vehicle now. This is the ACDelco Professional 7K763. I don't think there's gonna be any specs here, but I did read online that it is indeed a 1936 millimeter belt. So once again, that's a 7K763. If you're gonna be looking for an aftermarket belt, I highly recommend this one. I purchased it on Amazon, and I purchased this one on Amazon as well. Both online systems said this part fits your vehicle, which is a 2006 Scion TC. Again, this one did not fit, so do not get this one, even though it does have, I think, about a 4.5 or 5-star rating. A really good rating on this belt. I can tell it's a really high quality product, but unfortunately it's the wrong size and it does not fit the TC. And I would also not recommend the 1940 because it's technically 4 millimeters too big, so you might have a little bit of stretch over time and start getting some slippage, which you don't want on your system. So for those of you that don't know, the serpentine belt connects a lot of your accessories to your engine, and that's what powers, the alternator, which is this here, also your water pump and AC, things like that. And then there's also just some pulleys, and then there's a tensioner right down here that you need either a 19 millimeter socket. I used my 3/4 standard. This one it was just a little bit tighter than the 19 millimeter. 19 millimeter worked for sure, but I just wanted to eliminate as much play as I could from the tensioner bolt down there. So once you hook this up, I have my bar from my jacket. I use this to basically create a breaker bar. So you just want to make sure to take caution and do not damage that hose right there. Be aware of that. Also, to do this job, I highly recommend follow the procedure online, which is to kind of bend this little panel back. I took 2 screws out, and then there's 1 plastic rivet. That'll just give you access to the bottom half of this setup, so you get a little bit more leverage on the belt. Instead of trying to fish it up from the top, you can actually, by hand, make sure it's seated properly here. So there's a pulley here, there's 1 up front, and then there's 1 right above this area, and that's the hardest one to get to. This really helps a lot. Highly recommend you do that. I replaced my alternator about a year ago, and I did not do that, just because replacing the alternator, I mean, it's the same procedure, but you're only removing the belt off this pulley here. So the bottom half was still connected, which is why I didn't need to access that area. You can technically do it, but taking off the panel on the bottom will just save you that much time, and any time saved on this project is a lifesaver. Trust me, you do not want to be spending 3 hours doing this like I did. 30 minutes is the way to go. Anyways, this is the old belt, which is the stock belt. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to make out any of these cracks in this video. Let me try to zoom in on that. This belt is starting to crack. Okay, so for instance, this right here, that's what you're looking for on your belt. If you see anything like that, it's time to replace it. You don't want to wait till this thing snaps on you and you're stranded in the middle of the road. Highly recommend you guys check your belt periodically just to do a visual inspection and try to look for signs like this. I have about 250,000 miles on this, so this is pretty impressive. These OEM belts last a long time. Again, this belt I bought aftermarket. It was cheap, about 20 bucks, maybe 23, and free shipping, so you can't beat that. That is how to change your serpentine belt and how to solve any hiccups that you might run in along the way. Not too hard of a project, but unfortunately Toyota didn't really give you very much room to work with. So I mean, in between here and this pulley, I mean, you don't even have an inch to work with. I mean, this belt is about 1 inch wide, so I mean, do the math, you really can't slide it straight in. You have to do a lot of kind of maneuvering and twisting and turning just to fit it into all these pulleys, especially that back one. Like I said, once you get that bottom panel off, it's a little bit easier to work with. So that's that. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment on this video, and I'll do my best to get back to you guys.